Alright, you're watching and listening to Fat Bidin Knows Everything because I do know everything. This week, what we're going to be talking about is doing this on a Monday, and our new Prime Minister Muhyiddin has actually announced his new cabinet. I also want to talk about how I expect Malaysian politics to be in the future because of what has happened in the last 2 weeks. Alright, so here's the deal. After everything that has happened, you watch the video before this one, the episode before this one, where we saw there was a change in government, right? There is a change in government in Malaysia. A lot of people say it's a backdoor government and blah blah blah, you know. Some people who were in the coalition, in the Pakatan Harapan coalition, decided to leave the Pakatan Harapan coalition and they started joining forces with the opposition, which is UMNO and PAS, right? And they have then managed to form a government. Parliament has not sat yet. There has been no sitting of the parliament, so we don't really know if they actually garner the majority support in parliament. But according to our federal constitution, the Agong gets to decide who he feels it has the most support, without revealing to us, I guess, how many MPs actually support him to be the Prime Minister. So he has already declared Muhyiddin Yassin to be the Prime Minister. And this new coalition that is the new government is known as Perikatan Nasional. Right? Now here's the deal. Today, Muhyiddin has announced his cabinet. I'm not going to give you the names of all the ministers and all the deputy ministers because I'm sure you can find it online. But I want to mention some, I guess, notable changes that he has done. Right? Number one, he has decided that there will be no deputy prime minister. It's going to be 4 senior ministers, and each minister, these 4 senior ministers will act as if they are like 4 deputy prime ministers. Okay. Now, the first person is International Trade and Industries Minister Azmin Ali, whom everybody sees as a traitor. Then there's the Defence Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob, UMNO. And there's Works Minister Fadilah Yusof. And there's Education Minister Muhammad Razi Muhyiddin. Right? So, all 4 senior ministers come from all the 4 main component parties that make up this new Perikatan Nasional. So, in that sense, it's supposed to be fair to everyone who makes up the coalition that is the government right now. Okay? I don't know. What do you think? Is this a good move? This is somewhat akin to how Indonesia has their cabinet. They have these several senior ministers as well because they don't have a senior ministers because they don't have a deputy or vice president, I guess. Alright. Now, other changes that he has done in the cabinet, that Muhyiddin has done in the cabinet, is that he's broken the education ministry into 2 parts, which is the lower education and higher education. And then he has also formed a unity ministry and also a Sabah and Sarawak Affairs Ministry, which will be headed by PBS's Maximus Ongkili. Right? So, I guess that's how he's appeasing Sabah and Sarawak for supporting him. Right? Now, here's the thing. I do not expect this cabinet to last very long. Right? We are going to be expecting another general election in 2.5 years. And hey, if there's going to be elections, maybe the government might change again. Right? And I actually feel that this is how Malaysian politics is going to be in the future. It's going to be very fluid. I hope that we will come to a habit of changing governments on a regular basis. Not as regular as what happened recently, where it was just almost 2 years then it changed, right? And it was not through elections. It has to change through the normal procedures of having general elections. And then we change the government if we feel we need to change the government. It should be fluid. We should not have a prime minister who stays on for 22 years. We should not have ministers who rotate around the cabinet taking different portfolios for decades and decades. That should not be the way, right? Yeah, we need to be able, see, Malaysian society needs to be able to be mature enough to pick the right government for themselves at that right particular time. Different times and different situations will require different governments to administer the country, right? So we should not be getting too used to having a set individuals in the cabinet, and we should be changing all the time depending on the needs of the country. Right? So I hope that this will, I guess, mark a change in Malaysian politics. I know we have a lot of parties, but I kind of see it like how, I know it's a bad example, the United States of America. At least they have it's a two-party system, and they're constantly changing depending on the needs and depending on the wants of the people. And hey, if they want Trump, they want Trump, right? Yeah. Right now, what has just happened, nobody picked Perikatan Nasional during the elections. There was no Perikatan Nasional during the elections. So basically, this is a government that was not selected by the people, even though it was actually done legally. Let's not call it a backdoor government, because it was done legally, right? Everything followed legal procedures, so there's nothing that you can say was illegal or wrong. Well, just because it was legal doesn't mean it was ethical, right? What the majority of the people selected in the last general elections was a coalition that was Pakatan Harapan, that consisted of those parties that were in the coalition, and then now it's broken up. Who decided to break them up? Well, it wasn't the people, right? Yeah. So let me know what you think. I want to hear what you all feel about what I am suggesting, and what I believe that, well, sorry. It's just been a hectic 2 weeks, right? I want to know what you guys think about my thoughts of Malaysia moving forward in this way, right? Where we have a very fluid democracy, where parties, where the government changes, we have different prime ministers, different ministers in the cabinet, and the people get to choose these people. So I don't want to get used to seeing that one person as a prime minister, or those few people in the cabinet all the time, right? Let me know what you think. And yeah, okay. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. I know it's a short one, but short and sweet, it's always good, right? Now, I know last week I skipped the recommendations. I want to recommend, right, another book that I'm reading. It's called Merchants of Truth, Inside the News Revolution. It's written by Jill Abramson. Now, Jill Abramson is the first female editor-in-chief of the New York Times, right? She's no longer she's no longer at the New York Times, and she wrote this book where she compares 4 big media titans: BuzzFeed, Vice, which I love, the New York Times, and the Washington Post, and she reviews the behind the scenes of these organizations, and how business is run, and how journalism is actually done in these organizations. Very interesting book. It's new, right? I haven't finished reading it, but yeah, I'm going to recommend this, right? Okay, so that's it. You've been watching and listening to Fat Bidin Knows Everything. Follow us on all our social media platforms. It's at FatBidin. Get everything on fatbidin.com. Make sure you like this video if you like it. You can thumbs down if you don't like it either. But one thing is a must: subscribe to the channel. All right. Peace out. I've got 3 kids, 1 wife, and me to support. So you've got to help fund my life. So you actually can go to the Fat Bidin e-store, right? I'm gonna link it below, right? And you can get actually like Fat Bidin merchandise, right? And most of it are actually books. I used to sell DVDs and films and all that, but hey, everything's available on YouTube now. So now if you want to get Fat Bidin merchandise, it's mostly books. So I've got books here. See, like this book. This is called The Adventures of a KLite in Afghanistan. It's a graphic novel. See, graphic novel which I wrote and illustrated with my buddy Apan, right? It's a non-fiction one. It's about my time in Afghanistan shooting a documentary for a month when I was there. See, I'm a war journalist, right? So it's a really good book, right? I've got this non-fiction novel. It's called Operation Nasi Kerabu, Finding Patani in an Islamic Insurgency. This book I wrote because I spent some time in southern Thailand where there's a war there. You all know there's a war there, right? In Patani, right? I shot a documentary there which was banned for broadcast. But hey, they allowed me to publish a book, and if you get the book, there is a QR code at the back, right? There's a QR code at the back which allows you to watch it for free online. Oh, where's the QR code? Where's the QR code? Ah, there's the QR code, right? It's online, meaning you scan the QR code, you go to my YouTube channel. Okay, I've got another book. This is called Journo Dad, The Chronicles of a Journalist Who Happens to Be a Father. It's a compilation of my articles, my column when I was writing for the Malaysian Insider. It's all about like me being a journalist and raising a family at the same time. It's really funny. It's funny. My best-selling book, Liberal, Malay and Malaysian, Writings of a Walking Contradiction. This is a compilation also of my column in the Malaysian Insider. This one focuses more on like politics, race, demonstration, democracy and religion and things like that. It's funny too. All my books are funny because I'm a funny guy, right? Yes, I am. And if you like films, I sell this book. See, I wrote this book with my buddy Wan Chun Hong. It's a guide to filmmaking, indie filmmaking. Every chapter talks about one aspect of filmmaking, and every chapter also interviews one like really prominent Malaysian filmmaker. It's really good. You can get all these books at the Fat Bidin e-store. Come on, feed my kids.